Hello, friends, and welcome to e-classroom of Ahmednagar College, Junior Wing. Dear friends, in bookkeeping and accountancy, today we are going to see one new chapter, an interesting chapter, that is dissolution of partnership firm. Before this, in some lectures, we are continuously studying about partnership firm. In that, we have studied about introduction of partnership, admission of partnership, retirement, and death of partnership. Now, this is a last stage of partnership, that is dissolution of partnership firm. Let us see first meaning of dissolution. Friends, dissolution means it is basically a Latin word, dissolution, and which means to dissolve. Dissolve means to comes to an end. That means we can see it by the way of one example, a very simple example. When we prepare a tea, चहा आपण ज्यावेळेस चहा बनवतो, when we prepare a tea, in that we put some ingredients such as tea and sugar. When we put sugar and tea in that, sugar dissolves after some time in that boiling water. That means the real existence or the substance get dissolved. That means the basic existence of that substance comes to an end, and we cannot find out that sugar once again in that. And that means it comes to an end. And same thing applies here with dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution means comes to an end or to wind up the business of partnership firm or to close the functions or activities of business. So we can see it by the way of PPT or PowerPoint presentation. Let us see here. With the help of this PowerPoint presentation. Dissolution of partnership firm. Meaning of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership firm means to wind up or to close down the business of the partnership. It also means relations among the partners in a partnership firm comes to an end. Now, for that purpose, let us see some definitions as per Indian Partnership Act 1932. Dissolution of the partnership between all the partners is called as dissolution of the firm. Secondly, if we see the act of process of ending an official organization or legal agreement. In this definition, it is said that act or process of ending the business. So, from this, we can come to know about dissolution. That means if a business of a partnership firm, when we close it completely, when we wind up the business of the partnership firm and relations of the partners among them come to an end, it is called as dissolution. Reasons for dissolution. There are so many reasons. It may be voluntary act, voluntarily it may be dissolved, or when the period of dissolution expires, or after completion of specific venture, we can call it as joint venture, insolvency of partners, illegal or unlawful business. In that case, dissolution will be there. In case of partnership at will, it can be made by 14 days notice. And with all these reasons, Honorable Court can also dissolve any partnership firm on so many legal grounds. For example, found guilt of misconduct, or partners may be unsound mind or breach of agreement. So let us see process of dissolution, how actually dissolution is made. Before making dissolution, there is some accounting process or accounting treatment. We can call it as settlement of accounts on dissolution first. Before that, at first, assets are realized. Assets of the business, maybe land, building, plant and machinery, or maybe any other asset. Assets are first realized. Now, what do you mean by realized? Realized means sold. Assets are sold. And money recovered from that assets, we can call it as proceeds, money from sale will be distributed, or we can say paid, as per the following sequence. You can see the sequence. Realization and dissolution expenses are paid first. After that, outside liabilities, that means third party liabilities paid, for example, sundry creditors, bills payable, and so many others. After that, loans given by the partners to the firm are paid. After that, surplus cash is distributed amongst the partners in their profit sharing ratio. So let us see accounting procedure of dissolution. It may be studied under two heads, or we can say two types. Number one, simple dissolution, and number two, dissolution under insolvency situation. Let us see first simple dissolution. What do you mean by simple dissolution? When all partners of the firm are solvent, that means assets are more than liabilities, it is called as simple dissolution. And under this method, under this type, we have to open certain accounts such as realization account, partners capital account, partners current account, if fixed capital method is there, partners loan account, and cash or bank account. So let us first see what is realization account. Before that, let us see realization, meaning of realization. Realization is the process of converting assets into cash. That means sale of asset. And from that sale, we get sale proceeds. And in realization accounts, how you make an accounting. Let us see all sundry assets. When you see balance sheet, you can see balance sheet assets on right hand side, all those assets except or excluding cash, bank, fictitious assets, accumulated losses, debit balances of partners, loan of the partners. Except all these, all other assets are transferred to realization account on debit side. That means debited to realization अकाउंट. मित्रांनो, मराठी मीडियमच्या मित्रांसाठी रिअलायझेशन अकाउंट हे अत्यंत महत्वाचं आहे. आपल्याला इथं डिझोल्युशन एक्झाम्पल सोडवताना रिअलायझेशन अकाउंट हे अतिशय महत्वाचं आहे. कॅपिटल अकाउंट्स बनवावे लागणार आहेत, बँक अकाउंट बनवावं लागणार आहे, त्याचबरोबर लोन अकाउंट बनवावं लागणार आहे. तर इथे रिअलायझेशन अकाउंट म्हणजे काय, पहिले रिअलायझेशन म्हणजे काय ते समजून घ्या. रिअलायझेशन म्हणजे प्रोसेस, अशी प्रक्रिया ज्याच्यामध्ये ॲसेट्स विक्री करून पैसे प्राप्त केले जातात आणि त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला ऑल सन्ड्री असेट्स एक्सेप्ट मी आता सांगितलेले जे सन्ड्री असेट्स आहेत ते आपल्याला इथं ट्रान्सफर करायचे रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला, म्हणजे डेबिट करायचे. अँड ऑल थर्ड पार्टी लायबिलिटीज एक्सेप्ट or we can call excluding partners capital, reserves, accumulated profit, loan from partner. Except all these heads, all third party liabilities must be transferred or we can say credited to realization account. आता मित्रांनो, इथे एक गोष्ट तुम्हाला कळाली की सगळे सन्ड्री असेट्स जे काही याच्या व्यतिरिक्त जे मी तुम्हाला आता सांगितलं, सन्ड्री असेट्स रिअलायझेशनला डेबिट करायचे आणि ऑल थर्ड पार्टी लायबिलिटीज या रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला क्रेडिट करायच्या. आणि त्याचबरोबर assets realized sold are credited and liabilities paid are debited to realization account. When we get money from realization, we pay third party liabilities. When we get as a money from realization, we debit cash account or bank account and credit realization account. And when we pay liabilities, we debit realization account and credit bank or cash account. मित्रांनो, इथं ज्यावेळेस आपण रिअलायझेशन होतं म्हणजे पैसे प्राप्त होतात, आपण बँक अकाउंटला किंवा कॅशला डेबिट देतो आणि रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला क्रेडिट देतो. आणि ज्या वेळेस लायबिलिटीज पे करतो, रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला डेबिट देतो आणि कॅश आणि बँकला क्रेडिट देतो. अँड प्रॉफिट ऑर लॉस ऑन रिअलायझेशन is transferred to partners capital account in their profit sharing ratio. There is one specimen of realization account. You can see, मित्रांनो, इथे एक realization account specimen आहे ते आपण पाहू शकता. Debit side and credit side, all the sundry assets are transferred on debit side, provision on liability, cash bank account, that means discharge of liability, payment of unrecorded liabilities, and all payments are debited. And on credit side, sundry liabilities are transferred and provision on assets, amount received on realization, unrecorded assets are credited to realization account. You can see it in detail afterwards. Second account which we have to open, that is partners capital accounts. Capital, in that capital accounts, capital balances, that means opening balances of capital, reserves, accumulated profits or losses, realization profit or loss are transferred to partners capital account. And afterwards, all the balances are found out. That means balancing is made and balances are found out. After that, partners current account. In case of fixed capital method, partners current accounts are opened. If the method is fixed, then the current accounts are prepared. Same procedure will be made as you make in capital accounts, and all the balances of current accounts are again transferred to partners capital account. Next, partners loan account. If there is any loan given by partner, you can prepare a separate partner's loan account there. It may have credit balance, and in that case, you can prepare a separate account and transfer the balance, and when you pay the loan, you debit that account and credit cash or bank account. But debit balance of partner's capital, that loan will be debited to capital or current account. And at last, you have to prepare cash or bank account, a separate cash or bank account, and in that you have to make all the transaction of cash and cash received and cash paid. Stages of accounting. When we solve actual example of dissolution, we have to go through certain stages. आपल्याला मित्रांनो ज्यावेळेस एक्झाम्पल सोडवायचंय, आपल्याला काही स्टेजेस मधून जावं लागणार आहे. We can call it as accounting entries for the purpose of closing books of accounts. Let us see it. Number one, transfer stage. I have made one short form for these three stages. There are three stages. T.R.D. I just repeat again. T.R.D. T is for transfer stage. Later on we will see again transfer stage. In this transfer stage, first, all sundry assets excluding cash, bank, fictitious assets and so many others, you can see it on your screen, are debited to realization account at book value or balance sheet value. And all third party or outside liabilities excluding partners capital, reserves, accumulated profit and loan from partners credited to realization account. It is a transfer stage. मित्रांनो परत एकदा सांगतो, आपल्याला तीन स्टेज मधून जावं लागणार आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये TRD हा शॉर्ट फॉर्म लक्षात ठेवा. T means transfer stage, and in this transfer stage all sundry assets, सगळे जे sundry assets आहे एक्सेप्ट हे याच्या व्यतिरिक्त जे तिथे दाखवलंय मी, त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त जे काही सन्ड्री असेट्स आहेत ते तुम्हाला रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला डेबिट करायचे म्हणजे ट्रान्सफर करायचे. आणि ज्या लायबिलिटीज आहेत काही सोडून, त्या मी तिथं मेन्शन केलेल्या आहेत आणि सांगितलेलं तुम्हाला, त्या सोडून तुम्हाला त्या रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला ट्रान्सफर करायचे, म्हणजे क्रेडिट करायचे. स्पेसिमन जर्नल एंट्रीज. Let us see some specimen journal entries here. Of transfer state. Specimen journal. There are so many journal entries. Transactions are given and journal entries are given. You can see it on your screen. For transferring assets, realization account debit to assets. For transferring liabilities, realization account, liabilities account debit to realization account. And there are so many journal entries. We'll see those journal entries at the time of solving examples. Second stage, it is realization or disposal stage. I have told you just now the short form of various stages of dissolution. That is transfer stage. Just now we have studied transfer stage. All the assets are and liabilities are transferred. After that, second stage, T.R. R means realization or disposal stage. In this stage, assets are sold and liabilities are paid. In transfer stage, very simple. मित्रांनो, ट्रान्सफर स्टेज मध्ये आपण सर्व ॲसेट्स आणि लायबिलिटीज ट्रान्सफर करतो. दुसरी स्टेज आहे रिअलायझेशन स्टेज, और वी कॅन कॉल इट ॲज डिस्पोजल स्टेज. याच्यामध्ये आपण ॲसेट्स विक्री करतो आणि लायबिलिटीज ज्या आहे आउटसाइड लायबिलिटीज त्या पेड करतो. And for that purpose, all assets are sold out and in that are debited to cash account or bank account and credited to realization account. परत एकदा बघा मित्रांनो, ॲसेट ज्यावेळेस विक्री करतो, ज्यावेळेस पैसे मिळतात, we debit cash or bank account debit and realization account is credit. Or there may be another case that asset may be taken over by any partner, and in that case debited to partner's capital account and credited to realization account. In case of liabilities, all the liabilities and dissolution expenses paid are debited to realization account and credited to cash or bank account. Also, liability may be taken by any partner which is debited to realization account and credited to partner's capital account. And in case of a partner's loan paid, when loan is paid, loan account is debited and cash or bank account is credited. It is, you can see some specimen journal entries of this stage. And our third stage, which is last stage of this dissolution, it is distribution stage. As we have said that T, R and D, T means transfer stage, R means realization stage, and D, it is last stage, it is distribution stage. In this stage, realization account which we have prepared, it is closed, and profit or loss, it is found out that whether there is a profit or a loss. And when there is a profit, it is credited or transferred to partner's capital or current account. And if there is a loss on realization, it is transferred, that means debited to partner's capital or current account. Afterwards, current account is closed and all the balances of current account are transferred to partner's capital account. And after making all the adjustments related to partner's capital account is closed by setting their balances. You can also see some specimen journal entries are given here. Transfer of profit, realization account debit to partners account, capital account. In case of loss, partners capital account debit to realization accounts, and there are so many other entries which we will see later on at the time of solving examples. And treatment of goodwill. In this, we all know that goodwill is a reputation of firm which is measured in the firm value of money, and goodwill is treated as any other asset. So if goodwill appears in the books, that means if you see goodwill in balance sheet asset side, it will be treated like all the other assets and transferred on the debit side of realization account. But if it does not appear, there is no question of transfer. There are certain journal entries you can see about goodwill when it is transferred to realization account is debited and goodwill account is credited. When goodwill is realized on dissolution, cash or bank account debit to realization account. When if goodwill is not appears in balance sheet, transfer of goodwill, cash of bank account debit, and there are so many other entries also. Friends, we have studied about the dissolution of partnership firm. In that, we have studied so many points in dissolution which are very important, which are very essential for solving practical examples. So let us review some important points. Number one, dissolution means to close or wind up of the business of the firm. That means closing the complete business of partnership firm and the relations of partners is called as dissolution. Second, there is a process of dissolution. First, assets are sold, then outsiders' liabilities are paid. Then partners' loan are paid, and at last, if surplus cash remains, it is distributed amongst the partners in their profit sharing ratio. We have also seen some of the types of dissolution. Number one, simple dissolution, and number two, dissolution under insolvency. Next, simple dissolution means when all the partners are solvent, and dissolution under insolvency means when all the partners or maybe some partners are insolvent. Stages of dissolution, it is very important for you. T.R.D. It is short form. It is not actually given in textbook, but I formed it T.R.D. for your help. And stages of dissolution, T.R.D. where T denotes transfer stage, where all assets and liabilities, excluding some, as I mentioned earlier, are transferred to realization account. Assets are debited and liabilities are credited to realization account. And second stage is realization stage, where assets are sold, money is recovered, and then liabilities are paid. When assets are sold, realization account is credited, and when liabilities are paid, realization account is debited. And last stage, it is a distribution stage. Realization account is closed. In that, we ascertain profit or loss on realization. Profit on realization is credited to partners' capital, and loss is debited to partners' capital. Then capital accounts are closed and amount due to partners are paid or amount due from partners are received. So let us see short form T.R.D. Remember this short form, which is very, very important at the time of solving example. Transfer stage, realization stage, and डिस्ट्रीब्युशन स्टेज. तर मित्रांनो, आपण इथं पाहिलेलं आहे की डिसॉल्युशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म, त्याची अकाउंटिंग प्रोसेस आणि त्याच्या स्टेजेस काय आहेत. पुन्हा एकदा थोडक्यात तुमच्यासाठी सांगतो. डिसॉल्युशन म्हणजे काय, तर पार्टनरशिपचा व्यवसाय जो आहे तो बंद करणे. त्याची प्रोसेस काय आहे, तर आपल्याला सगळ्यात पहिलं काय केलं जातं, ज्या काही ॲसेट्स आहेत त्या विक्री केल्या जातात. त्यासाठी आपल्याला ॲसेट्स पहिल्या ट्रान्सफर कराव्या लागतील रिअलायझेशन अकाउंटला, आणि विक्री केल्यानंतर त्याच्यातून जो पैसा आलेला आहे तो पैसा लायबिलिटीजनी पेड केला जातो. त्यानंतर आपल्याला हे जे अकाउंटिंग करायचंय 3 स्टेजेसमध्ये करायचंय. त्याच्यामध्ये T.R.D ट्रान्सफर स्टेज, रिअलायझेशन स्टेज आणि डिस्ट्रीब्युशन स्टेज. इथं ट्रान्सफर स्टेजमध्ये सगळ्या ॲसेट ज्या आहेत या रिअलायझेशनच्या डेबिटला ट्रान्सफर करायच्यात. काही ॲसेट सोडून ज्या मी इथं मेन्शन केलेल्या त्या परत करत नाही. त्याच्यानंतर काही ज्या लायबिलिटीज आहेत त्या क्रेडिट करायच्यात रिअलायझेशनला. दुसरी स्टेज म्हणजे रिअलायझेशन स्टेज, आणि या स्टेजमध्ये ॲसेट्स ज्या आहेत या आपल्याला विक्री करायच्यात आणि लायबिलिटीज पेड करायच्यात. आणि त्यानंतर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन स्टेज जे आहे याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला रिअलायझेशन अकाउंट, कॅपिटल अकाउंट हे क्लोज करायचे. पार्टनरचे जे काही कॅपिटल आहेत ते इथं आपल्याला देऊन टाकायचे. तर मित्रांनो, फ्रेंड्स, वी हॅव स्टडीड टुडे a theory of dissolution of partnership firm. In this we have studied so many points, and I hope you understood all these points. In next lecture we'll come with some more interesting examples about dissolution of partnership firm. Till then, bye.